You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls, and on today's episode, we're going to talk. What do you think we're going to talk about? Pain and suffering as the Chicago Bulls lose their 5th game in a row. AK also talks about taking responsibility for this team, and me and Pat are going to talk about the in-season tournament in which the Bulls went 0-4 in, but teams seem to be taking it more seriously than what we initially thought. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook, make every moment more right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. Pat, man, no dub, bro. Hey, listen, the Boston Celtics came in here today and literally played with the Chicago Bulls, bro. They knew that they could get whatever they wanted at any point in time. We now, in the last 2 games combined, have given up 45 3-pointers, brother.
46, actually.
46, yeah, you're right on that one.
I had an even worse stat for you.
Okay. Oh.
I wanted to get the live reaction off of Haize. I ain't even told him what this stat is. How many games this season have the Chicago Bulls not trailed at any point in the game by more than 15 points?
1.
6 games out of the season.
Hey, that's more than I thought.
The Chicago Bulls have not been getting beat by more than 15 points at any point in the game. 2 of them were early games that we actually managed to win. Over the last 10 games, the Bulls have been beaten or have been led by scores of 20 plus or more 7 times.
That's wild.
And it's so crazy because most of the games haven't ended that way. Yet again, you're talking about one quarter. Now, in this game here, right, like it was an all-out savagery, right? Like this felt like Dwight Howard has you locked in a room with how the Bulls got played here, right? Like you had no way out. Yeah, I mean, that's how the Bulls basically got beaten tonight's game. And I think at the end of the day, you know, this is, you know, we'll talk about Zach LaVine's comments and kind of what everything went into with how this team is playing out. But I mean, these are the kind of games, and I don't expect drastic change from the Bulls, but these are the kind of games that get people fired in competent organizations.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it may get Billy Donovan a couple more years on that extension.
Hey, but it seems I bet you every loss adds like another 30 days.
That's crazy.
Like he re-upping like net 30s on the phone plans back in the day. Every bad loss is another 30 days for Billy Donovan. I don't know, bro. Like this was the Bulls are doing. The Bulls feel like what the Bears are doing this season, right? Like it seems like every loss is not just a loss. We find out some stat at the end of it that is like, this hasn't happened ever in history.
Yeah, man. The Bulls suck right now, bro. And like the thing is that, and again, this isn't a pick on any one person, but Vooch has aged 5 years in this offseason. Zach LaVine, two points in this game, which is funny enough. Me and you were talking well before the game, and I was like, hey, it's not like Zach only gave us 2 points.
He gave us 2 points, bro.
He gave us 2 points.
And listen, I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that were like, well, he ended up getting hurt. Like, get used to that.
Yeah. That's one of those. Play. Hey, what's the score? Hey, my foot kind of hurts, man. Yep. I can't go. I can't finish this game.
Get ready for that. I mean, like he played 25 minutes pretty much in this game.
Yeah.
And he gave you 2 points. You know what I mean? Like that is. It's the ups and downs of getting ready to get rid of a player. Mm-hmm. There's going to be games where he's absolutely feeling it, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh my God, what's he doing out there this long? And then there's going to be other games where he's off, and I believe that, he's just kind of done with the situation, and he's going to have those moments where he's like, my stock can only get worse if I stay out here.
I mean, but apparently after the game, he says you just got to go out there and win games, brother. Like he said we got to go out there and win games. 2 points, we're going to win games.
I'm on the same thing, and this is what I always say. Today's such an embarrassment. I still don't believe this is the worst loss the Chicago Bulls have had all season, right? But today's such an embarrassment because you didn't compete at all.
At all.
Like you didn't. There was no answer from Billy Donovan. There was nothing anybody went out there and did. There was no. Like, I'm gonna be real with you, and I get it, right? Like, it's a different NBA, but just the mindset that we was raised around, the thought process of I'm going to play my starters to finish the game, to try and get us closer in in-season tournament play.
Well, we're gonna talk about that a little bit in the.
Well, I'm not going into, but like, do you know that? Like in the early 2000s, like knees would have been taken, like fights would have been started, like people cared.
Do you remember
about you embarrassing my team?
That's what the Knicks and the Denver Nuggets got in a fight about back in the early 2000s, is because they felt like the Nuggets were running up the score.
Yeah,
and it was right before they traded for Allen Iverson, and the Knicks felt like that. And listen, Nate Robinson was about that life.
Oh, bro, the punch heard around the world, bro. Nate Robinson hit. Who did he hit? Was that a Flalo?
No, I don't think a Flalo was on that team at that point in time.
Bro, like, I don't remember who he, bro. Was it Melo?
I think it was Melo, because Melo got
Melo in the face.
Melo got suspended too, so I think, but Melo wasn't trying. Melo really wasn't about that life at all. Like
he hit him so hard, bro. I just remember the whole stadium was just like, oh God. Everybody in the stadium heard it. No, it's like the thought process that I'm gonna run the score up because we're trying to get, and what pisses me off even more is the conversation that everybody thought Billy Donovan was going over there to say, hey, you don't do this against us, blah, blah. No, Billy Donovan was saying, stop hacking Drummond, you making them look bad. Yeah, you know what's making them look bad? 124-97. That's making them look bad.
I just looked it up. Nate Robinson gave J.R. Smith that business. He tackled him into the. He tackled him to the front
surprising.
Row. Yeah.
Well, J.R. did try to catch him. Nate immediately ran. We gotta throw that out there too.
Yeah, he did after that. Like he did. He said, "I got my lick. I'm making sure you don't get yours back."
Immediately ran behind all the big people. Like he was not there for any of the action. But and I'm not saying that you should go out there and injure people. I'm not saying that I want to see that, but there's a pride about playing for a certain team that there used to be in the NBA. I don't see it as much with what we have with our Chicago Bulls team. I'm not going to say I don't see it with everybody, right? Because guess what? You try that stuff with the Golden State Warriors. If you try that, somebody just tried it and got into a fight over it like a couple of days ago, right? Like there are teams that have that respect, that have that mindset for the jersey that they put on, and we just don't have that here.
Yeah, not at all. Guess what? We suck.
What are your thoughts on? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When it comes to Nikola Vucevic, is this a normal Vooch start to the season, or is this Vooch starting to age?
Feels different. This feels like age has caught up with Nikola Vucevic. I know that we typically say like the Vooch slow start thing and stuff like that, but Vooch has never looked to me, even in his slow starts, like the game of basketball pains him physically. Yeah. That's what it looks like to me.
Vooch just moving through. Got that rheumatoid, man. Got that rheumatoid.
So this was Vooch in November, how he started off. 21 points, 13, 19, 10, 26, 21, 26, 17. And then for some reason, from November 15th to 17th, Nikola Vucevic has forgotten how to play basketball.
Yeah. It's gotten ugly. It's gotten ugly with Vooch all the way around. I think that DeMar is very similar. I would love to know. Now, I saw Zach leave. Of course, Zach leaves because of the injury. Where was DeMar?
He said he re-aggravated his hip.
Oh, so he also went back to the training room.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's cool.
Team full of old people. They had to get that Bengay in there.
The icy hot is on.
The icy
10.
hot.
Just the smell. Can you imagine the smell of that locker room the second you open that door, bro? Because that's such a specific smell.
Funny
of
story.
like,
I know we got to get into the break. Funny story, bro. Like, so we used to always have baseball camp. Remember, I grew up in Germany, and it was in Wiesbaden where we had baseball camp. It was like an hour and a half away from Mannheim, where I grew up, and so it was literally like the baseball teams from all the bases in Germany and the surrounding countries would come to this one baseball camp. We'd play like 12 games over the camp or whatever.
Yeah.
There was this one dude who was terrified because it was public showers, terrified to shower. He did not shower that whole week we were there. But then, then 2 days before we left, decided to rub icy hot on his whole entire body because he played catcher and somebody ran into him. When I tell you the smell of feet, butt, and icy hot, I was done. I literally called my dad and was like, Pops, I think I'm ready to come home. He said, you got 2 days left, son. I'm like, hey, you don't understand, bro. The whole gymnasium smells like this one person, and we all know it's just him. It was bad, bro. It was bad.
That's tough, bro.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's hey, that's what it smelled like. Lob Mob's comment right there. That's exactly what the locker room smelled like right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's tough. Oh,
yeah, that was tough.
And you know, like it's making you sweat more too. So now you mix it sweating. Oh my god,
bro, it was bad, bro. But next up, we're going to be discussing AK's comments on taking responsibility for where the Chicago Bulls sit right now. Before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. And talking about the action, listen, the spread for the Bulls game versus the Celtics today came in at a -16. The Bulls were giving up 16 points. You would have definitely cleared your money on that had you bet the over on that, because the Bulls were terrible. FanDuel just paid somebody's rent for the next 3 months off that bet alone. But with that being said, the app is super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, Pat. So before the game, which is always crazy, and it was AK was giving an interview to Boston beat reporters. And in short, he was asked a question about the state of the team. And he said that we see what everyone else sees and are just as frustrated. We're disappointed, but I'm not running away from it. It's my responsibility. How do you think AK has been standing up to that responsibility?
The issue for me is more with the draft than what we've seen from the actual play on the court. A lot of the play on the court to me is kind of the state of your team right now. I think that it goes into coaching, right? Billy Donovan, as a head coach, he even dropped a quote today talking about I take responsibility where we're at too. Look at myself in terms of things I can do better. First, to help our group, that's my main focus, right? Like I think that a lot of the things on the court I have issue with, I look more at Billy Donovan. I look more at the players that are out there that can do something about it and say, why don't y'all have enough pride to go out there and try and do something about it?
Yeah.
But the one thing that's inexcusable is you've missed on what I would say is probably 5 or 6 players that could have absolutely helped your team get better heading into a season. You miss on Halliburton, you miss on Devin Vassell, you miss on was Buddy Hield a part of? No, Buddy Hield wasn't a part of that draft. There's one more that's in the P. Will draft, right? Even outside of that, you miss on Walker Kessler to take Dalen Terry, who you won't even put on the court. Like he got on the court tonight because literally they were just like, hey, we still got that tall water boy. Nah, we sent him back to overseas. Oh, Dalen, I guess you could come in tonight. Yeah, I mean, like that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, I mean, like you've missed so much in the draft and you've put yourself so far behind the 8 ball. And then on top of that, at the end of the day, right? Like, shout out to Alan Pena, right? You missed on Billy.
Yep.
And I really believe Billy Donovan is not different than when he came here. The players are just not Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's not different.
His system is very dependent on having superstars. And if one of those superstars can be a point guard, even more the better.
And it's just, we're saying the same things that OKC fans were saying about Billy Donovan 3 years ago. Like, it's not different
because he's been here 4 years, but yeah.
Well, 4 years, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not different. It's the same commentary. It's the same commentary as like I say, a lot of the coaches in the NBA, but you have to find guys that can get through to the players that you have. And I think that you've done your players a disservice by, one, you're gambling on guys and it hasn't worked out. And two, I just don't believe that you have the right person in place to do the job. I haven't believed that you've had the right person in place to do the job this entire time. And I think that reflects on the court.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you come down to it, like development hasn't happened. Now you haven't drafted well either, so that goes hand in hand with that. But like when you look at, you brought in Billy Donovan and you touted development as being one of those reasons why.
Yeah.
You then went on to change to a roster that was trying to compete for a playoff spot. Then at that point in time, and you haven't really you haven't given Billy Donovan the roster that makes him the best coach that he can be. And I said this over on Central today too. I truly believe Billy Donovan has coached this team as best as he humanly can. Now, that doesn't mean he still doesn't suck in some aspects, but he's done everything to your point, everything that you expect Billy Donovan to do and be able to do and say and all this, he's done it. He's done everything. Billy Donovan has gotten the best that he can. It doesn't mean that another coach can't get better out of this roster,
right?
But he's gotten the best that he can with his skill set and his talent level out of this team is what he can. And it is what it is. That's that you sit here now partially because of that.
And I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like Billy, I get it because he's here. A lot of people criticize. He's not a bad coach. Is he a great coach? Heck no.
No.
Never would confuse him with that. But he's not a bad coach. And I think that a lot of people want to make him out to be a bad coach because, he's not using this guy in the right spot. He's not using this guy to do this. He's not using. Well, when we see him use those guys to do that and they airball a shot, why don't we call those guys out?
You know, Adam Amin said something. I know you probably didn't get to hear because you were doing your live call yourself. He said something that I literally felt like was on point. He said, why avoid benching the veterans if they're not giving you anything anyway? Why are you worried about upsetting veterans that aren't giving you heart and effort anyway? And I was like, listen, truer words have not been, and even Stacey King for a second, like it was like Stacey was like, wait a second, you just cooked a little bit, Adam.
Yeah.
So
that's, I hear it. I always go back and watch the game again. Even this one. I may not make it all the way through this one tonight, but I've always wondered this. Why is Zach LaVine the only one that ever got benched? Vooch has never gotten benched. DeMar's never gotten benched. DeMar shot us completely out of games. DeMar's never gotten benched.
I think he benched LaVine at one time and he was like, oh, bet this ain't gonna work here. Cool. We ain't doing it no more.
And I think that's right. Like those are the moments where even tonight, right? Like when you look at Kobe White, when you look at Patrick Williams, not to say that, hey, if I give if all of a sudden I just give these guys all the shots that they want to take, they're going to come out and dominate. But like, why are you pulling them off of the court at the end of that game? Why are we not seeing more? Why is this not the time for P. Will to go out there and hoop? Because off of the numbers, yet again, another efficient night for Patrick Williams. Is it the P. Will I want to see him? I back in on P. Absolutely not. But it was another efficient night. Those are the moments where you say, okay, yeah, you're not playing. Y'all go out there and just do what you do. It's out of your hand. Go out there and do the best you can. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a long season. And I think the one thing that I saw, I think Bobby Marks tweeted this out earlier, talking about, kind of where the Bulls are going to be. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Where the Bulls are going to be trade-wise, right? And you look at the next 5 games. We'll talk about that on another episode, but you could look out to the next 10 games, right? Like he says, for Chicago Bulls fans wanting a roster change now outside of the James Harden trade to the Clippers, there have been 0 trades the past 2 years, 2021 through 2023, in the month of November and December.
Yeah.
0 trades.
Yeah. It's not happening. We're not making trades anytime.
I'll see y'all January 15th.
Yeah, exactly. January 15th. That's when we'll see y'all.
94% of the league is available on January 15th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see y'all January 15th. It's getting ugly, man. Hey, let's keep this thing moving along, because the one thing I will say that surprised me tonight, and listen, I'd have punched somebody in their face personally, but it does seem like people care a lot more. I got this Golden State game on right now. Like it seemed like people care a little bit about these in-season tournament games, bro. Like it's a lot of it's a different feel. So we got to talk about that heading into this final one. Plus the Bulls didn't win a game. But first, I do have to tell you guys about PrizePicks. First off, PrizePicks thanks our listeners for being a valued PrizePicks partner. As an experienced creator who understands the audience, they are looking to help. What does that mean? What is PrizePicks? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of players, including pros and sharks. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 players, stat projection, and watch the winnings roll in. With the basketball season here, you now can pick a combo projection as well across football and basketball. These are actually very interesting. For example, you could do LeBron James and Travis Kelce at 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made and receptions. Now, you probably would have lost that one the other day because the Lakers got beat by 46, I believe it was. It was not pretty. And Travis Kelce did not play well with the Chiefs. So tough one on that, but keep it moving. Back on the horse. Is it back on the horse or is it off the? I don't know. Anyway, PrizePicks offers a reboot policy as well, so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So this is what you guys need to do. You go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Daily fantasy sports made easy.
All right, Pat.
I struggled through that one. That was a tough read for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was tough. I be clowning you. I be clowning you on reading. That was a tough one for me.
Listen, everybody gets caught up from time to time, brother. That is what it is.
Just ask Josh Giddey.
Well, fair enough. Okay. With that said, Pat, you already alluded to it, man. In-season tournament game, you already talked about how the Boston Celtics trying to get the points in this one. They needed, I think, they needed to win by at least, was it 21, 23, something like that? They ended up winning by more than that to get those points needed. Stacey King and Adam also talked about how they feel like this point system that's part of the in-season tournament is stupid because it puts people in situations like that. I love how Billy Donovan and Joe Mazzulla kind of had a meeting about it in the middle by the damn announcers table. And Billy's just okay, well, I guess I understand. Come on, man. Like you said, show some pride. But we've seen fights during the in-season tournament games. We've seen teams run up the score. It's more pride than what we were expecting coming into this first in-season tournament.
Yeah, and Casey Johnson tweeted out after that basically that was about making Drummond look bad because they were doing the hack of Drummond to get the ball out of his hands because he was going to miss. They needed the point differential and all of it. All right, okay, we're mad about that. How about we stop him from scoring the basketball? We mad about making Andre Drummond look bad on the free throw line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then I I guess to Joe Mazzulla's credit, you saw him after they had the powwow do like this, and then they stopped fouling Drummond. So I guess and then again, per Casey Johnson, not only did Joe Mazzulla come apologize to Billy Donovan after the game, he went looking for Andre Drummond to apologize to him as well. So like, I don't know about that. I don't like that part of it, but I do like that guys are competitive. Guys are trying to go out there and be the first team to win this in-season tournament. $500,000 per player for a team is cool, I guess. For the guys on the bench, that would be great. For Steph Curry, I feel like he spent $500,000 right before the game just getting there. And he's like, no, I want to teleport to the game. I said, make that happen. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I think there needs to be more incentive for the fan base to care, but it's cool to see that the players care.
Yeah, it's good to see that they care. And you know, that is what the thing that you can build on. Like we know they're going to tweak it, right? They're going to make, I don't know if they're going to, how many tweaks they're going to make between the first year, this playing the in-season tournament to the second year, but they're going to make tweaks to it to make it better. But when you have the players that are bought in, that's the biggest thing that you want. You want that buy-in there first. And so because you're getting that, you know, it definitely helps some.
Yeah, it's good to see that I'm glad that the league can make transitions.
Yeah.
Like I get it. We all want everything to be the same. This is not how basketball was when Kobe Bryant played. This is not how basketball was when Michael Jordan played. Michael Jordan ain't walking through that door no more. Michael Jordan ain't even walking through NBA doors right now. They probably could walk through whichever one he want. But like Michael Jordan ain't even going to games of a team that he used to own.
Doesn't he still own like a small percentage of it too?
Probably. He ain't never gonna let all the money go.
Yeah.
But he ain't even showing up for them. Like, yeah, I mean, Michael Jordan, the next big event we're gonna see Michael Jordan at is Larsa Pippen's wedding. So that's
wild.
I'm glad that the league is kind of like, yes, we get it. The older fans want this style and this is going to be that, but we need to make adjustments to get a new audience. I hope that this actually does work. I hope that this actually does draw big numbers, because I think then you're going to see some adjustments come in. The part that sucks the most about it is Chicago Bulls in the in-season tournament with 0-4.
0-4 in the in-season tournament. Yeah, I mean, they don't show any pride at all. Would you expect them to show pride for an in-season tournament? Psh, what the hell?
I mean, and it's the way you lost. And so here are 4 in-season tournament games. Close game. The first one, close game to the Nets. 109-107, they lost. After that, we scored 33 points and a half versus the Magic. The second time.
Yeah,
we got beat by the Raptors 121-108, and we just got clapped tonight 124-97. Outside of one game, we basically didn't see the Bulls compete in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen them compete, period. So there you go with that. I don't care about the in-season tournament. No, I do, but the Bulls part of it, I don't. Like, we suck. It is what it is. This team is
0-4 is crazy though. Like that really, like. The variety of team that we played is so vastly different.
Yeah. You know, it's not, but you know what they all have in common? They can beat the Chicago Bulls.
They tried.
And succeeded.
Listen, like, man, I say this. When do we play the Wizards? That's all I'm looking forward to. Hey,
look at the teams. Look at the other teams that have gone winless in the in-season tournament. The Detroit Pistons 0-4.
Yep.
The Washington Wizards 0-4.
Yep.
Chicago Bulls 0-4. Memphis Grizzlies 0-4. And the San Antonio Spurs 0-4.
And the Memphis Grizzlies are missing a star player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait to see Ja back on the court.
Bruh.
The Memphis Grizzlies are missing a star player and went 0-4. Like that's how that happens. My God, bro. It's just That is funny. I saw that. The Windy City Bulls roster can beat the current Bulls roster.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
It's sad right now, man. It's sad. But what I will say is I'm glad that the in-season tournament is, I think it's been better than most people have expected, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was notoriously down on this in-season tournament, and Yeah, the play has been really good. You've gotten heart and passion from the players, so I definitely appreciate it. Speaking of the Memphis Grizzlies, though, like when Ja comes back, do you think they should sign Dwight Howard so they can say that the guns and buns?
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.
Y'all can follow me at CEO Haize. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. It's been Locked On Bulls. Peace, y'all.
Can they be like how Twister was like rapping over the gunfire? Never mind, don't worry about it. Guns and buns is crazy.